Alright, well, I haven't done a whole lot of videotaping on what I've done inside the AMX so far. So I did get my new Supercharger pulley. This one here is 2 3/4. So I thought I'd go over this a little bit, just because this has been a problem. So this is the 4-inch. Yeah, pretty sure my wife drawing a smiley face on there. Anyways, this is a 4-inch, and this is the factory pulley on the E4 Supercharger. The best boost that it would make at our altitude was between 2 and 3, more like the 2 range, which is pretty typical for a stock setup Supercharger, because they give you like a 100,000 mile warranty, so they have to make it, not so much wear and tear, I guess, so they just, you only get a couple pounds of boost anyways. So then we went to this one here. This is a 3.5, and there's the part number in case somebody wants that part number. And I got these from Summit. You can just get on Summit and get them. So this one here was giving us about, the best I ever saw at a high RPM was around 7 pounds of boost. So on average I got about 5 out of it. So between 5 and 7 is all this one here would put out. And that's alright, good enough. They make a 3-inch pulley, but I figured we're only going to go up a couple of pounds per pulley. We want to be in the 10 to 12. So we got the smallest pulley they make, which is a 2 3/4. So that should definitely help out. Now the next biggest problem I have with the Supercharger is getting a belt that'll work. This here is about it's not the smallest, but it's about the mid-range of what you can get in Dayco. So this is a, basically 117 3/4. It's about what this belt is. With this Supercharger, with the little Supercharger pulley, if I wrap it around everything, I can actually just slip it on with no tension. I mean, it's on there. It's not tension tight though. It's just, on there. So it's not gonna work. It doesn't have any tension on it. But with the E4 Supercharger, this is the belt they send you. I don't know if it's got numbers on it still. I mean, I'm not really sure. This belt is slightly bigger. I'm gonna say this is probably like a 118. Because this belt is slightly bigger. This is the one they give you with the Supercharger, but you're running this 4-inch pulley. However, I'm running that smaller power steering pulley, so that throws everything off. So to use the belt that they send you with the Supercharger, since I'm using that smaller pulley, I had to upsize this pulley. This pulley is pretty small. I don't think I have the original one, but I think it's really close to being this size here. It's actually probably slightly smaller than that. But so I went with this bigger pulley to take up the slack, and it worked for the most part. Then I went to the 3.5-inch pulley. So then, I lost a lot more belt. So I got that 117 3/4 belt while I was still having basically the problem I'm having right now. There was no tension. So I put this big pulley on there. You can see it there. And it's quite a bit bigger. So I put that big pulley on there. And it worked for the most part. When I got to Bonneville, my belt would squeak, it would chirp, and the whole time I was running, idling, and it was because the belt was a little loose. So when I actually was in Bonneville, I literally just took a chisel and a file and filed that out, and didn't even run. I didn't run this bolt here at all, and actually put my bolt onto the side here just to get this far enough out to have enough tension so my belt wouldn't chirp. So that's what I had to do to keep it from chirping and keeping the inspectors from opening the hood, wanting to know why the car's making noise, But so anyways, my theory is I can find a 115.2, so just a little over 115 inches, and that's 2 3/4 shorter than that belt. So I can get one. I guess I'm gonna order one. I'm gonna go back to the stock small pulleys, and hopefully that'll work with all of this. But the reason I'm showing you all this is that way, if you're gonna do this, especially if you're gonna put this in AMC or something where you're gonna have to put the smaller pulley to clear on your power steering pump, that way they don't make a 116 inch belt. I've looked at every brand I've got on the internet. I've looked at everything. The best I can find is a 115, and that's in a Continental, I think is what the belt brand is. They do make a 116 and an 8 rib belt, which somebody was saying just buy an 8 rib and cut 2 of the ribs off, but that's a little too hokey for me. So anyway, so that's my pulley setup. So I got this 102 drive-by wire, 6-pin, which fits fine and works okay. But since I'm using an LS1 wiring harness, the original one's 8-pin, and I know I've gone over this before, and these are all 6-pin, so I got this fancy-dancy expensive X-Link to go from 8-pin to 6-pin, so I don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops and everything. But this is a Chinese one, obviously. It was like $160 or something like that. Took 3-4 weeks to get here, and it doesn't work. So I did some research, and if I was smart, I would have read right on this X-Link. It tells you right on there, 90% of all the eBay Chinese-made throttle bodies will not work with that. You have to have a GM, an actual GM-made throttle body to work. Which I did get one. I think it's a 90 or a 92 millimeter. And I actually got it from a guy that I talked to on Instagram quite a bit who's doing the same thing. It should be here Monday, so be able to get that figured out. It's not going to be 102 yet, but I'll probably have to do that soon. I did clean up all my fuse wirings and put this new fuse panel in here. I cleaned up my relays and put some better relays in here so they're not just flopping around. They used to just be tied together and flopping around there. I cleaned up 90% of all the wiring. I even put me a master positive there, so when I pull the motor I can get all of that out of there. And then I cleaned up my couple of relays on this side, which are the fuel pump and the TCC lockup relay for on these 4L80Es and stuff. You got to have a signal when you press your brake pedal and all that stuff when the torque converter's locked up, so it knows to turn off and all that. And you have to actually like reverse wire your relay for that to work. It's really bizarre, but there's a website that tells you all about it, how it works. But got that all cleaned up. Got 90% of the wiring all done. I just need to do a little bit more, which I bought the parts I need to do the last little bit of wiring. You can actually see that black wire there. That's my ignition wire. So I was looking for some single release clips for it, and I did find some. Even though I probably don't really need to, I'm going to replace my heater lines because they're only a couple of years old, but you know, may as well just replace them. I don't have them hooked up yet, so that's what I've been dealing with on that. All my belts and whatnot out of the way. So I bought a bunch of heater hose, and some of that's for the El Camino because the heater hoses don't look very good on it either. Got some Dix Cool. The wife bought that for her Jeep, which is fine. Today is her birthday, so I'll just go ahead and take the credit. I bought that for her for her birthday, even though she bought it herself. Power steering, because if you watched the last video on the El Camino, I'm guessing that's why it makes noise. And you know, I tore the belts off for no reason. Exhaust donut for the El Camino. A whole bunch of hose clamps because I need quite a few for the Supercharger cooling lines yet. And bullet connectors, that's what they call them. So, got some bullet connectors to do the last little bit of wiring I need. Here's the other side. And a new power steering belt for the El Camino. And all that stuff was like $115 or something. What a bargain. As the guy at CardQuest would tell me. A lot. But anyways, just thought I would throw a little bit of what I've got going on and what I've done so far, and not a whole lot left on here. I got to hook all the plug wires on, finish the heater core lines. I got one Supercharger line I got to finish, and get a serpentine belt on it, get the throttle body on it, put antifreeze in it, and just a couple wires. And basically it's ready to be start. So hopefully we'll get the rest of the parts we need. Next week they got the belt I was talking about. There's one in stock in Bozeman at the AutoZone, so I will try to grab that guy tomorrow after work or the next day, and so we'll have the belt, and then the new throttle body should be in hopefully tomorrow. And we'll get this guy buttoned up so we can all hear what it's going to do, if it'll even start, or if I didn't screw something up, or if it blows up right away. I don't know. I don't think it should, and I'm not going to go out and rev it up or anything. And then tires for these wheels should be here Wednesday, I think. And we'll get the El Camino back on the road. And yep, just lots of projects. And and to answer everybody's question, no, I don't think that this is very good welding. And B, I don't care because it's called the Frankenhood. And C, that's what 20 pounds of Bondo is for. I never did say I was a body guy. I actually think I've told everybody that I hate body work. I hate Bondo. And this is about the best kind of work I can do. So you can like it or you don't. Or start your own YouTube channel and show me how it's done right. Don't matter to me, but so that's why it's called the Frankenhood, because I never intended it on looking very good, and like I said, this hood is in really bad shape anyways. But I think being called a Franken hood, it looks fine to me. So that should answer the couple of people that are crying about the welding job on it. Hopefully that answers it, or it doesn't. So all right, well, I was just gonna throw this on there as a quick little video, and we'll get some more videos out here soon. Thanks for watching.